Hello everybody and welcome back to NCAA 2004 in the Alabama Crimson Tide Dynasty mode. And now we are here entering into the offseason here for year number 13, entering in of course year number 14, following a 13-1 season winning the Rose Bowl. Ohio State manages to pick up a national title by beating the Colorado State Rams, who are trying to repeat in this season. But unfortunately, they fall short to the Buckeyes, who were on a collision course. They were on an absolute collision course, and that is Ohio State's second national title in this series. They won it back in year number 2, so it's been a long time, over a decade, since they won. Kind of like real life, honestly. They won in 2002 and then didn't win again until 2014. But hey, go Bucks, right? OHIO, you get it. Either way. But looking over our stats here, you saw our quarterback stats. Lionel Blackman here, decent season in year number, or in his senior season, mind you, but 17 touchdowns here. I think 22 total if you counted his 5 receiving, so a huge season for Lionel Blackman. Still didn't get him Heisman votes. I thought this season could get him some Heisman recognition, but no, it didn't really push the needle for him. I don't know why. I don't believe he's at the bottom, which he was, on like 4 first-place votes. I think that's kind of crazy, but either way, that's how they view it, I guess. But the receiving core, I talked about it a lot in the Rose Bowl, but Chip Milligan and Lou Newsom were huge contributors in the receiving core. And even Clifford Jones at tight end had a great season for us, too. So didn't see a lot from Cliff Herman. I really wanted a lot from him. I had huge hopes for him when we first recruited him, and he's been around on this team for a while now at this point. You guys probably remember, but LaTroy Jackson not giving up a single sack, dude. That dude's going to be playing on Sundays. Believe me, that guy's going to be playing on Sundays. But either way, receiving core still performed pretty well. Passing in the ball this season was kind of weird in general. Our offense really wasn't as potent as it has been in years past. We kind of struggled between the Dre Gates and Cal Lumpkin stuff. So, those guys' favorite receivers is kind of different and all that kind of thing. But so that's unfortunate, but our defense is very disruptive. Look at this, dude. We have 5 guys with double-digit TFLs. John Costa leading the team in sacks with 9, which is huge to see. More than Herman Sapp. I thought Herman Sapp would lead the team in sacks, but he didn't. And then Kevin Wagner with 6 interceptions, man. Give yourself a round of applause, baby. A round of applause. And then Kendall Owens, freshman All-American kicking, man. 89%. We'll happily take that. Absolutely, we'll happily take that. It's always tough when you switch up kickers because you can't really prioritize recruiting kickers, but it works in our favor. So we lead the SEC, and it's really a 3-horse race between us, Tennessee, and Arkansas. South Carolina at 9-4 isn't bad either, but really when you look at the conference record, dude, it was log-jammed at 6-2, so really if we lost, we were fine because we didn't lose a conference game. Even if we lost to Arkansas, we'd probably still be in pretty good shape here, but Florida posting a solid 1-win season. Eesh. Not winning a single conference game. Eesh. That is rough, man. The SC West this season was a little bit more kind of staggered a little bit. We had a lot more mid-tier teams and good teams and at least like one bad team. But the East, good Lord. Goodness gracious. So looking over the top 25, we finished ranked 3rd. Southern Miss is above us. Ohio State, of course, 1st. Virginia Tech slotted in at 4. Oklahoma moves up to 5th. Colorado State drops all the way down to 6. Air Force moves up to 7. West Virginia drops to 8th. Arkansas moves up to 9. So we have 2 SEC teams in the top 10. Notre Dame is here at 10, Penn State's at 11, Texas moves up to 12, Oklahoma State drops to 13, TCU drops out of the top 10 to 14 after losing to Air Force, Fresno State moves up to 15, USC drops to 16, Wake Forest down to 17, Minnesota up to 18, Utah up to 19, Oregon rounds at the top 20, and then you have Tennessee at 21, and then Middle Tennessee State and Nevada sneak into the rankings, South Carolina drops to 24 and just hangs on in the rankings, and then North Carolina, for beating South Carolina, gets ranked at in the top 25. So kind of a weird top 25 this season. A lot of weird, interesting turnover that we have, but that is the reality of the situation. So looking over our losing players now, John Frederick as a sophomore is looking to get up on out of here. I would assume that means he's going to transfer. I don't think he can graduate, but I think he's going to transfer. And then John Paul, of course, our starting strong safety, is also looking to leave, which is a huge loss. Same with Nat Bentley. So 3 of our top DBs on this team who we could retain for next season are all looking to leave, on top of losing, of course, Lionel Blackman, Cliff Herman, Clifford Jones, LaTroy Jackson, again, didn't give up a sack this season. And then some very important linebackers like Lamar Price, Strip Ulrich, and Ellison. All of our starting linebackers are leaving. Kevin Wagner's also leaving. So, 7 or 8, major contributors offensively and defensively, all looking to get up on out of here, either because of graduation early or just straight up graduation. So I think all those guys are probably going to be draft picks, but those are some huge shoes to try and fill. So let's get a look, recruiting recruiting-wise and see exactly what we did. So we did get the number 9th and number 13th cornerback in the country, as well as the number 1 cornerback in the country. So we completely reloaded at DB. Grabbed another receiver here to replace Cliff Herman, of course. Grabbed another 5-star running back to replace Lionel Blackman, a couple tackles as well. So I really, of course, went after the top positions that we were, of course, looking for. But this class is really loaded with 4-stars. We really got a ton of 4-stars because we ended up, you'll see in a second, when we go over who we lost, you'll understand why the class is loaded with a ton of 4-stars, man. Recruiting has gotten more and more difficult, which is cool, but it's gotten more and more difficult. So the top receiver in the country ended up going to Oklahoma. I was in on him. The number 1 middle linebacker went to Notre Dame. I was in on him. The number 1 guard went to Notre Dame as well. The number 3 receiver went to Southern Miss, which is a huge loss for us. The number 4 cornerback ends up going to Notre Dame. Number 3 tackle goes to Oklahoma. Number 7 receiver goes to Wake Forest. Number 2 guard ends up going to Texas. We lose the 4th tackle to Fresno State. We lose the 6th tackle to Colorado State. The number 5th tackle to Colorado State as well. The number 6 guard ends up going to Ohio State. I mean, dude, it was just a bloodbath recruiting-wise. Just a bloodbath. And as you see, we really took a major step back because of that. So Texas takes the top here with 11 5-stars at number 1. Ohio State, the defending national champs, at 2. TCU, of course, who beat us, loads their class full of 4-stars and gets in at number 3. Notre Dame, Colorado State, familiar faces here in the top 5, top 10. And we come all the way in at 7 with 10 4-stars. So not a great year for recruiting. We get gutted on a lot of blue chips that I was really in on. A couple of those guys flipped. A couple of them we never really had a chance on. But yeah, we're starting to lose a little bit more and more on recruiting each season, and it's starting to get a little bit more apparent as you guys saw the on-field product last season. Despite our 13-1 record, we definitely played a little bit slower and a little bit more lazily than we had in years past. So that kind of dominance of just putting up 50, 60 points in these games is just kind of starting to slip away from us. Of course, in the sim games that we didn't watch, that still kind of happened, like in our conference schedule, that still very much happened, but you know, the on-field stuff that we were watching, that is not the case. So, still looking over the training results, you can still see a lot of low to mid-90s across the roster, some high 80s as well. So, you don't have to worry too much about, like, the longevity of the team. There still is a lot of talent across the roster, no matter where you look. There's definitely people, key contributors at every single position. So we're going to get a look when we look at the depth chart to see which position groups are lacking more so than others. You know, we saw last season that the receiving corps was really kind of down. So with a year under their belt now and some growth and development, they should at least be in a more formidable place where we can, you know, kind of fall back where we were, you know, before our mass exodus of Darius Vann, Demetric Hines, you know, all those guys leaving us. You know what I mean? We can get back to that area because it's pretty consistent leading up to that. So Dre Gates is up to a 99, but I don't know if he's still going to start for us. We might look at Ernest Slaughter or Cal Lumpkin, and Slaughter had a huge year in training, so he's now listed above Lumpkin. So Cal Lumpkin might not even return to start for us this season. We might even go with Ernest Slaughter this year. So we'll see what Dre Gates does here, but yeah, we're leaving it open. Marquise Bowen's going to start at running back here in the absence of Lionel Blackman, but Keon Hood at an 86 is directly behind him. Jamal Sharp is back to start at fullback as a junior. Lou Newsome, our top receiver, at 84. Ben Medley is a new guy replacing as a freshman at 81. We have Chip Milligan up to a 78. Evan Jacobs up to a 77. So still not great receiving-wise, but we'll take what we can get. Jeff Dillard is now a sophomore at tight end. He's going to start for us. Luke Lang, left tackler, is a junior. He's going to start. D.T. Holloway, a sophomore now, who is redshirted. We are going to move him out and put in Jed McPherson, the junior. He's going to start at left guard. Moving ahead now, the rest of our offensive line looks pretty good, but we have a huge hole at right tackle that we're going to have to figure out as well. We're probably going to have to move around a few guys here. Jed McPherson might actually probably make more sense here on the right side, considering the gap that we have there. We might just have to kind of do what we can with one of the other centers or, you know, left guards or tackles that could probably replace at the guard position. So we had to kind of put together an offensive line here. It's still going to be pretty good. Most of the guys are going to be in the 80s, but, you know, just noticeable that things are taking a little bit of a step back here. We still have Sapp and Costa as our defensive tackles here. Conrad Gross, a 94 on the left side. We don't lose step back in linebackers. We always have pretty good linebackers here. As I say that, there's a 77 starting on the right side. But it's okay, because we have Bam Price. We're going to put him in place here, so everyone's over a 90 in the linebacking core. The cornerback depth is now starting to drop back a little bit. We had a lot of high 80s and low 90s guys over the last few years, and now we're only starting 282. So pass defense might be a bit of a concern. Might be a little bit of a concern. I think we're still probably better than most teams in the SEC right now in terms of overall, but it's still definitely noticeably worse than where we're typically at. So we're starting to move down just a little by little. So this season might get a little bit more difficult. But to counterbalance that, I'm going with an easier schedule. I went difficult last year. I typically go difficult, put in ranked games. The only difficult game I'm putting in is Colorado State because I'm tired of them always just being in front of us somehow, and making it the two BCS national title games back to back is just unacceptable since we can't even do that. So I'm going to play them this year and try and knock them out. That's the only challenge I'm going to take. And of course, I also put Ball State on the schedule because if you guys didn't notice last year, I did mention it. We almost lost to Ball State. That game was 37-36. So I want a rematch, and I also put it in Muncie because I thought that'd be hilarious. So hopefully you guys enjoy that when we come back in year number 14 and kick it off in Muncie against Ball State. Hope to see you guys there.